My name's Justin Smith. I'm Director of Policy here at the Calgary Chamber of Commerce. So back when City Council was debating the idea of appropriating some money to develop cycle tracks here in the downtown core, that's when we started engaging with the issue, and that's when we started taking a look at cycling from a business perspective. It was fraught with argument on both sides. There was the pro-cyclist community. There were those who thought it would lead to increased congestion, and so we didn't want to see cycling infrastructure. And what we tried to do at that time was really just assess it from the business perspective. And what does this mean for our city? What does it mean for a business operating in Calgary? And how could we possibly have a voice on this debate? Because traditionally, as a Chamber of Commerce, we like to talk about taxes, we like to talk about regulation, we like to talk about the development of our energy resources and pipeline infrastructure. We have a core set of issues, and I'm happy to say that cycling wasn't one of them at the time. But nonetheless, City Council was looking at spending some money on this, and we wanted to take a look at it and see if it was a worthwhile expenditure. A funny thing happened in that process, and we actually discovered that there's quite a strong business case rather, for cycling infrastructure. So first, it's about quality of life and the attractiveness of Calgary as a destination for labor. Folks who are considering a move, have a lot of options to choose from, whether it be Calgary or New York, London, Toronto. We're in a global competition for capital and talent, and you want to do everything that you can to make sure that your city maintains its competitive edge and enhances its livability. And we found that a lot of potential folks, especially at the younger generations, were interested in cities that had amenities such as cycle tracks or other community or recreational amenities such as that made Calgary a great place to live. And so for that reason, it made sense to invest some money in cycle tracks to develop that. Especially too when we look at surveys of our members and ask them at the time, this was back in 2014, what the major challenge was for them, or the major impediment to growth and success in Calgary. And all of them, writ large, said that attracting and retaining a talented workforce was by far their number one challenge. And so if cycle tracks could play just a little bit of a part in getting that competitive edge on attracting and retaining those workers, it seemed like a worthwhile investment. The second issue was around productivity, and that's another area where Canadian business in general and Calgary businesses in particular can improve. Certainly employers would rather someone at their desk who had just gone through a 30-minute exhilarating bike ride to work than someone who has maybe scarfed down 2 breakfast sandwiches sitting in traffic on the Deerfoot Trail. There was a strong worker productivity argument, and a strong suggestion or indication that an active lifestyle, such as cycling for your commute, contributed to better productivity in the workplace, as well as putting downward pressure on employer healthcare costs. That's a big cost for businesses, not just in Calgary, but everywhere. And if we could see some moderation in the cost escalation on the healthcare side, that was another argument to support cycling infrastructure. The third was just looking at the number of cyclists in Calgary and comparing the amount of money we spend on transportation infrastructure compared with the amount of money we spend for those who drive or for public transit like the C-Train. And we disproportionately fund roadways and underfund other forms of transportation, including cycling. And so just from a proportional spending argument, we weren't supporting cycling infrastructure the way that we should from a public dollars and cents perspective. And for those reasons, we thought it quite in line with the interests of our members to stand up and say, this is probably a worthwhile expenditure, and this is something that could support the interests of business.